Today was a big day, one of several that will mark the 37th America's Cup. Today was the first time that we would see all 6 teams racing officially in the preliminary regatta. There'd been rumours, gossip, chit-chat and the odd picture, but today we got to see it for real. My day started with breakfast with the French, which was far more revealing than I'd expected. This team might have been the last in and least experienced, but in many ways they're the most content. They know that they're the underdogs. They also know that they've got a rocket ship of a boat, and that helps them take each day at a time. But they were also interesting when it came to describing the performance of the other teams. According to them, the British are very quick downwind and sail very deep, something that the French can't live with yet. They also say that the British boat handling is very good as well. They were also clear that there are 2 divisions at present, the Kiwis, the Italians, and the rest. Alinghi Red Bull Racing have been the talking point here in Barcelona for the last 48 hours. Losing their mast but then getting back on the water 24 hours later was impressive in itself. But then to go out and win the opening race of the Louis Vuitton preliminary regatta made it clear that the Swiss meant business and have made them the team to talk about as the first day of racing got underway. Their match was against Orient Express racing team and started with an error from the French as they missed the entry into their match. This put them on the back foot. They rounded the top gate 12 seconds behind the Swiss and never recovered. But for the Swiss, this could not have been a better start.
I'm really happy with everything. We actually executed the plan as we wanted. A few adjustments from yesterday practice race. There is still many things to improve, but the team did a really fantastic job, and we just work on the details, and it's always great to get the first win of the series. Yeah.
Next up was a big one, Kiwis versus the Italians. Many consider this pair to be not only the top dogs, but a league ahead of the rest. But then, just minutes into the race, we saw something firsthand that we've only heard about from team gossip, a shutdown. The race had started as a really tight match between the two, including a close lee bow by the Kiwis. Minutes later, as we were looking towards another tight cross, the Italians suffered a system shutdown. An electrical problem meant that they had no functions for 20 seconds after the tack.
Yeah, we're not really sure what happened, but basically the only thing that works at that point is the steering, because it's mechanical. Everything else on these boats are, there's so many electronic features, and so, yeah, look, it's no different to a Formula One car, where we're pushing the edge here, and look, we hope that's the last issue for us from that point of view, but I won't be surprised you see it, because you see it in Formula One, where you're still at that level, they still have issues, and that's because you're pushing the envelope. But yeah, at this point, it was just, I think, disappointing for both teams, because we were looking forward to a head-to-head battle, and it was setting up that way.
While this handed the race to the Kiwis, they won't have taken this for granted. The same happened to them in a practice race against the Brits earlier in the week. After the top mark rounding, the Italians retired after concerns about whether they'd fully recovered the systems. The start was all on for the British, perfectly timed at full speed and sitting to windward. But the first few clues as to what the Americans could do came in the opening seconds, as they squeezed up under the Brits and eventually bounced them off onto port. And while INEOS managed to get the first cross, their advantage was short-lived, as the Americans worked a perfect windward leg to round the top mark 6 seconds ahead. By the bottom it was 7 seconds, and then the numbers only went one way, to see American Magic take the win by 29 seconds. So Tom, talk us through today. That must have been a relief to, first of all, it must have been a relief to get round the course today after the drama yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday wasn't a memorable day in a good way. We had a big nosedive in the pre-start and didn't even get to start against Luna Rossa, which is unfortunate. We're really, any practice you can get against another team is gold, so But today, yeah, it was good. The team brushed off yesterday and the short team repaired the boat, and we went out and executed a really good race. So, yeah, we're very happy with today.
You know, we sailed a reasonable race. You know, we got our first cross, but just lacking a bit of horsepower. So, got to get the boat back to the shed, think about what we're doing wrong, how we can get some more pace.
To be fair, the Americans hadn't been flawless either, and the Brits do seem to be able to recover downwind. But in the end, a win is a win. The final race of the day between Orient Express Racing Team and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli didn't start well for the French. First came a penalty for a late entry, then a boundary penalty, then they were OCS. The result was that the Italians were handed the start. At the top mark they led by 20 seconds, and the Italians went on to deliver a pretty tidy performance. Setting aside their poor start, the French seem to have a quick boat and the ability to exploit it, but they need to tidy up their handling. But they know that.
It is really intense racing on the edge. Those boats are really loaded on the rudder, which is quite new for me. And during the press start, you have to manage this load with all the fishtailing. So, yeah, just moving on and just making sure that we are used to sail these boats in the next few days.
So today was indeed a big day for teams, for the event and for spectators. We had a taste of what's to come and at last some numbers to back up the gossip and speculation. See you tomorrow for another day in Barcelona.